Hi everyone, this is my second video on my online shopping API tutorial series. So I just want to have a quick overview of what we did on the previous tutorial. But before we get there, I want to take you through this code. This is my favorite code from Simon Sinek. Joy comes not from comparison but from advancement. Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do with these videos. I promise you each one will be better than the previous one. Audio, content, everything I'll try to improve, and I promise to at least upload a video once a week. If I'm going at a faster pace, I might upload 2 or more. So this is what we did on our previous tutorial. We created a database using Entity Framework Core. These were the nugget packages that we added on our project. It was Entity Framework Core, Entity Framework Core Tools, and Entity Framework Core.sql. And then in there we added a product model. This is the model that will handle all of our items that the customer can purchase. So on our upcoming series, we will see how we can link this up with a customer to an order. Yeah, I believe that's where about it will end, but in the middle I will try to use different technologies and explain different coding standards of AspNetCore. So on this second tutorial, what we're going to do, we're going to create a product interface, and in there we're going to have a declaration of the CRUD functionality. That's your basic create, read, update, and delete. And also in there I will add an implementation of this interface so that we can actually see how this all ties up together. This will enable us to store the information on the database, read from the database, and also update from our database. And then I want to expose that via a controller. So I will have a product controller to expose all of this functionality. And then towards the end, I will also like to do a demonstration of the Swagger API. Swagger API is an API documentation standard that is given to us. It's very easy to use. It's nice, saves a lot of time from all the hard documentation that we used to do in the past. So please like and subscribe. Let's begin. So this is our project. This is our DB context that we created previously, and on the data models I only have one model at the moment, which is the product. On this model I want to add one more column, and this column will actually hold for us an image of our product, because that is what was missing from our previous tutorial. So this will be a byte, and I'm just gonna call it an image. No need to be fancy there. Okay, so that is sorted, and then I also wanna update my model that represent this data for us. So on this model I'm just gonna add the same column I added previously for the image. So yeah, we want to have the name of the product, we want to have an image to see what product it is, a brand, who's the seller or the owner of the product, and the description, the category, what type of product it is, the quantity, how many are they in stock, and then the size. We did explain the size in the previous tutorial, what it's all about, but yeah, I assume every product will have some sort of a size. And then we have the boolean check to tell us if is it in stock or not. But also when we get to the interface part of this, for now I'm guessing I might be using MVC. We will see how we use this boolean switch to hide products that are not in stock and display only the ones that are actually in stock. Doesn't make sense to show something to the customer when you don't have it in stock. And then lastly, we have the price. So now let's go and implement our interface here. Like I mentioned on the slides, on this tutorial we're gonna implement this interface on the product service, and then after we want to add a controller that will consume or rather expose this functionality for us. And then towards the end we want to add Swagger API. Okay, so let's go. This is my product interface, and then on there I want to call, this is my product service, and on there I want to call my product interface, and then that will give me an error. So to fix that, I'll just implement this interface. By doing that, that will give me all the declaration of the operations that I have declared on my interface. So now here is the interesting part of implementation. Before we do the implementation, remember all of this will read from the database or write to the database. So meaning we need to add our database here. So that will be a private read only. It's a shopping DB context. Like so. And then from there I want to pass this through to my constructor method that will allow it to so each time the instance of this class is being created, we're gonna get access to the DB context class. So yeah, that's the whole purpose of a constructor. It's like an entry to your object. So let's go here and implement the add product. I'm just gonna put one line comment here to say this to save the product record on the DB. So I'm using the shopping API DB context, and then I want to access the DB model of product. So we have our product equals new product. Okay, I guess that is missing for now. We must still add a reference to our product model. class is public. Let's see, why is this complaining? No, I don't want to change it, but I want to reference it. So I will take that namespace and just add that. Using that should fix the problem for us. There we go. Our product service now knows what we're talking about when we mention product. So first thing we want to pass here is the ID to be referenced by the model ID, and then next we've got the brand. Also this will be referenced by the brand that's coming from the model, and then we've got category. Okay, so that sets up our model. So what I'm doing here, I'm passing the data that is coming from the product model onto the product data model that represents our DB object. So once that is done, I want to use my context, or my DB context rather, to access the product. This is like the table that is going to be storing the data for us, and just add the product, and then after that I want to save this product. So I'm gonna call it dbs.save changes. So if all of this goes well, I want to return a message saying product successfully added. Okay, there we go. So our code looks fine like this, and it can work as is, but there is one problem for this. Database operations may fail sometimes due to, it could be any issue with the database. It could be a network. Sometimes the database might be logged. For a lot of different reasons, a database operation might fail. So meaning, for that reason, we need to handle those exceptions. So I'm gonna do a small change on this method to accommodate that exception. So yes, you had the word exception, so I'm gonna use something called a try catch, and all of this code now will go onto my try block, and then I've got an catch statement that will catch any exception that may occur. So I just want to throw the exception, get the inner exception, and I want to return the message from there. Or rather, I can just simply pass this as a string and just return it. Okay, so that's happiness. We are done with the add. Now let's look at the delete. So I'm not gonna rewrite the entire thing. I'm just gonna use a copy and paste. It's a good technique for coding, makes you code faster even. So a delete is slightly different from an add in that we are actually doing the opposite. But notice how I'm passing the ID, meaning first I need to have an object that I want to delete before I can actually delete it. So I'm gonna remove all of this. I'm no longer adding, so I don't need that. And then my add will now become a remove. But let's see how we can find this object first. I have my DB context and I want to access products, and when I get to products I want to do a find, and on that find I'm just gonna pass in the ID. There we have it. Now I have my product, so now the next step is to remove it from the database. So we're no longer using add, we're looking for a remove product, and after removing we want to save changes. And now I'm no longer returning the message to say product was successfully added, but I want to say product was successfully removed. I really believe in copy and paste, guys. Saves a lot of time. Next, I want to do a search, or rather a find. Similar to what we did above, but slightly different, because now we want to bind the product data that is coming from the database onto the product model. So again, I'm gonna go and copy my try catch statement. No need to rewrite code that you've written before. It's actually good practice to reuse. So now I have all of that, and then I don't want to remove, and since I'm reading from the database I don't need to save any changes. But now here's a challenge. I don't want to return a string anymore, but I want to return the product model. Let's see what happens if I return product as is. That is giving me an error. What's the error? Cannot implicitly convert type shopping API database.data model.product to shopping API model.product model. So what this tells me is this data you have is completely different from what this operation is returning. So we need to sort that out. There's a lot of ways we can do this. Another way, which uses an external API automapper, that will be covered on our next tutorial. So for now I'm just going to do it the more challenging way rather. So to fix this problem, in here I'm gonna use a link on operation called a select. So db context product dot select. Again, this I can do it with a copy and paste, so meaning I can take all of that, pass it in here, and now the models, all of this will become in X. I'm just gonna explain now what I'm doing here. Okay, that looks fine. And then okay, I'm returning a single item here, so I'll just take single or default like so, and then return product. And then now I can't return a string of an inner exception, but I guess I'll just throw this inner exception if an error occurs. So I want to say throw ex dot inner exception. See if that is happy. Okay, that looks happy. So let's quickly have a look of what we did here. So I'm accessing my DB context, obviously the product model, and now I'm applying a new method. This is a select method. Let's quickly look at the definition of this method. So that's the select, and let's see what this does. So this is the summary of this select method. If you quickly look at the parameters it's taking in, it takes a t source and it takes a t result, and it returns the function of I queryable t source. It also uses an expression, but what this does, it projects each element of a sequence into a new form. That explains it. So going back to what we did here, it will project, an expression of this product model onto a new form of product, and vice versa, or rather vice versa. So we project products as product model, and that sort of removes that error we had before. So now I'm done with my get product by ID. I want to do the get products. Get product is almost exactly the same with get product by ID, except that it doesn't take any parameter, and with the get products we actually returning the entire list of items from the database. So let's go and see how we can do that. I'm gonna copy all of this as is. Remember, once again, it's very important to reuse code. If you already have it, don't write the same lines of code. Waste a lot of time and it's error prone. So I don't want to return a single object anymore, and also I want a list. So this will change to list, and yeah, like that we are done. Get product list will do the same thing that we were doing on get product by ID, but now, oh yeah, we missed something on get product by ID. In here we want to filter with the ID, so we need to specify a condition where p into p for product dot ID equals ID, and then lastly we wanna do the update. So for our update we're gonna have to do something similar to what we did for a delete, because an update is like a get and an add, so it's like two operations performed as one. A delete was a get and a remove, so that's why I'm saying we will need the exact same code that we used for our delete, and we will use it for update. Okay, and then also for our update we want to do, okay, there's something wrong with our update parameter. It's at the moment it's passing an ID, only an ID. We can't really update using an ID, so our interface has an error there. We're gonna have to quickly change that. So I'll go to definition and then change this to that, and then I will pass the model. Okay, now yep, that looks fine, makes more sense. Okay, so now I want to pass the model to get the ID, Okay, now we have that. Let's quickly do the updating of the data now. So you will have product. We don't need to update the ID. I don't think we want to update the image, so I will look at the other columns. Okay, maybe for some reason we might want to update the image of a product. Let's include it. So I think I've covered all of them. Okay, we need to say is in stock or not. Yep, and we're done. So now I wanna access the DB context and then look at the product and then call the update and then update this model here. Okay, product successfully updated. That won't work because we are not returning a string, but we want to return the updated product, which will be the one that we basically received. So we're no longer returning, but we want to throw this exception here. It's no longer a string, just an inner exception. And then we are done with our product service. Now we need to quickly implement this on a controller, and then lastly add Swagger. So when we get to the controller, I want to add an API, not an MVC but an API controller. I'm just gonna take the one that is already scaffolded, but I'll do a couple of changes on it. So the model that we want is product model, and we're using the shopping DB context. The controller name will be products control. Let's go ahead and add that. Does this using the entity framework code.tools nugget package we added. Okay, that will take some time. Busy generating the controller with some code for us on the background. As you can see, generating code. If you do this, you really have to write a few lines of code. Okay, it's not happy with that. Okay, guess I'll have to rewrite my own control. I'll take an empty one. Yes. And this is product. So the first thing to do here is I want to add my iProduct interface. Add that using statement. Let's edit the namespace for us, and then we want to initialize this on the constructor. This the product service and equals product service. Okay, now we are done. We want to have a few methods here. It's gonna be public I action results, I enumerable product model, and this will be get products. There's no parameters. Okay, action results is not happy. Let's see, action results is happy. So what is the warning about? Private member product service can be removed if the value assigned to it is never used. Relax, it's gonna be used just now. So here I want to return okay, and then call the product service dot get product. like so. We are done. And my URL, I want to have API controller and the name. I believe it's a small letter and the name of the action. And this will be my HTTP get. So after this, I want to have public action result add product. This will take a parameter of the product model. I'm just gonna call this model, and then here I wanna say return. Okay, and then say product service dot add model. But now I only want to do this if the data being supplied is valid. So if model is not equals null, then we can do this here. Else I want to return node can I return an invalid? It's not an invalid operation, but okay, I'll return no data found. Yeah, I'm just returning not found results. Okay, so I have that, and I want to do the same thing for get by ID. That is a slightly different way of doing it, and it is now I can go ahead and send int ID and this will be get by ID we want to do the exact same thing on the get by ID like we did for add product. Okay, ID is an int, so it will never be equals to null, so I'm gonna say if this ID is less than 1, throw an error. That means it is 0, or yeah, some garbage is actually being sent. And what else do I want to I still have the update and the delete, which will work exactly the same. This will be update. Update is slightly different because it takes the model. Otherwise, if I can, let's play around with this. I will declare a var of a product, and that will equals to this. Okay. If product equals null, I want to return a not found. Else I want to say let's update. Then we want to update this product over here. But now that will change if my ID is greater or equals to 1, else meaning my ID is less and it's not equals to 1. I want to say this is not found. Leave the space in between them. So I've got update, I've got find by ID, I've got get all products from the database, and then lastly I want to what is it, delete. The delete works in the same principle, I believe. No, a delete is similar to add. So this one is an HTTP post, HTTP get, and HTTP get. Delete is also an HTTP. Okay, I can use it as a get because I'll actually pass in an integer of the ID, and that should be greater than 0. I like to play around with this condition anyhow. So let's delete ID. Yep. So that completes all of our operations. So let's quickly go ahead and add Swagger now. So for us to be able to use Swagger, we will need two things here. So first here we need to come and define the Swagger, and then on our startup we will need to add a call to Swagger. Startup is the one that is loaded when the application is first run. So the very first entry is the startup. That's where we're going to call our Swagger. And then yeah, let's go and get the nugget packages for that one. So for that I will need to go to browse and Swagger. So I have Swagger UI and Swagger Bubble /buckle.aspnetcore.swaggergen. Let's just confirm which ones we need here. So we need Swagger generation, and we need /buckle.aspnetcore Swagger UI. But according to the Microsoft, they say we can just use this one. Let's go through it again. Getting started with Swagger. Swagger tool. No, it's not the one I'm looking for. Okay, that's their website. You can read if you want to know or have a deeper understanding of what Swagger is, but for this tutorial we just need Swagger in AspNetCore. It looks like this one is doing it for us. Okay. It's taking too long. I'm just gonna go with the first approach. Let's go get /buckle.aspnetcore swaggergen and swaggernet UI. /buckle.aspnetcore swagger UI. Okay, so we're gonna take this one, install, and then take this one and install, and then from there we need this. Let's close a few things here. We've got that, and lastly we need this. Say shopping API. Let's just rebuild our solution. Now we are running there's an error. Let's see. We haven't binded. Shopping cart would not be found. Shopping API could not be found. Okay, let's go ahead and fix that. Here's our first problem. And this, we don't have name, but we have action. And also on startup, there's another problem. We need to do this one before Swagger. So I'm gonna say services dot add scoped I product service and bind that to product service. Implement this using that. Let's build this again. Try and run now. Okay, we are up and running. It looks like we have our get products. Our database is currently empty though, so I'm assuming, okay, this is actually giving us an error. System cannot find specified on line 9. Shopping API DB context line 9. DB context. Okay. We've added a column on our model, but we have not yet updated our database. That is the problem. So we need to do an update database. So you can go ahead and delete the old migrations. You don't have to always delete, you can just re-add if you want. It will update the existing one. Migration product model update. Is there a problem with my own product model update? So yeah, I've changed it to a byte now, and then I've updated my packages of the database to version 5, and I could get that to work, to build successfully. If I try to update again, this should tell me now there's nothing to update. It's done. So let's go ahead and run this. Product I want to add, I'm gonna say try it out. I do auto generated. I'm gonna say this is a sneaker. My image is a byte. I've downloaded an image here on my desktop. This is the image I'm using. And then if you go to the browser, there's elma.io tools base 64 image. What this website does, it takes that image, it converts it to a base 64, which is the equivalent of a byte data type that I've defined on the other side. So yeah, now I'm gonna just use this byte data that they've given me as an image, and then the brand will be Levi's, and the description is man white sneakers category summer and clothing shoes. Same stock, I have 10, that's size 6 is in stock. Yes, the price is like 900, and let's send it. Now if you look here, this has went successfully and added this message is the one that I've defined on my product service. So if I can just quickly put a breakpoint here, we'll see this message being returned. And can I resubmit this? Resubmit. I'm now hitting a breakpoint. Just use F11 to step through. And now if you look at the product model, you will then see the image. I've got it as bytes, it's being converted automatically, and then yeah, size 6, quantity, all of that. And if you continue, product is returned successfully, so there is no error. And now I've tested the post. I'm gonna now test get all product should give me 1. If I do a get all, I've got ID 1. It looks like there's 2 and 3. Okay, so this represents an image. You can ignore that. You will have a nice view of an image on tutorial 3 on our next tutorial, when we connect an MVC application to this web API. Because remember, a web API is just a back-end application that communicates with either your mobile application or your other web application. It could be any framework, just that for this tutorial I'm choosing MVC. You can use React, you can use Angular, you can use Node.js, any other front end or user interface framework will still work fine with this API. So yeah, I want to try this out, and I'm gonna say that my ID is 3. Execute. Says 3 is not found. Okay, let's try 1. Execute. Response 1 is not found. I wonder why that is. Let's go have a look at our DB model. Product, we have 1, 2, 3. Why is it not found? Let's look at the controller. Get by ID. Let's put a breakpoint in. And let's try this again. Execute. The ID is 1. Oh, I see. So our logic is incorrect here, because now 1 is not less than 1, so that's a bug. So we need to quickly fix that. So we want to say if is greater or equals 1, then it should go in there. Get by ID, try it out. 1, execute. Now it goes in there and it goes to the database. Database calls are expensive. You can see how long that took just to bring us back this data. And now we've got a sneaker with that image. Scroll down. It's a Levi's white leather sneaker. It's a men's shoes, quantity 10, size is 6, is in stock 2. Yeah, that will be all for this tutorial. So what we have covered here is we've created an interface for CRUD. We did add get by ID, update and delete, and we implemented those operations, and we added a controller to pass the request for us, but it's actually an API controller to be specific. And then towards the end we've added Swagger. And now for our next tutorial, we will be looking at how to write few lines of code on our product service using AutoMapper, and then we want to see all of our data presented on the interface. I've mentioned I'm going to be using MVC interface to do that, and that will be on tutorial 3. That's all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and watch out for our next tutorial.